Get me bad, girl.
Me, baby. Shaking it the way I like. I'm ready to be bad. I need a bad girl.
Get me bad, girl.
One sexy lady coming on with me tonight. I'm ready to
Be bad.
I need a bad girl. Bad, baby. Get me bad, girl. Give me one of them. Give me one of them. One of them. Give me one of them. Get me bad, girl.
The kids have their radio station. Now you have yours. 860 AM and 106.5 FM. WNOV.
The kids have their radio
voice.
station.
Really?
Now you got yours, player.
Hey,
Get at me, player. You know what I'm saying?
the kids have their own radio station. Sound like
Yeah,
some kids
like-
going on up in here.
Like them other kids. Them other stations is for the kids.
Really?
You want some adult conversation, intellectual, we get it in. Where else can you hear?
Adults and intellectual conversation.
Yeah, like the Michelle Bryant to the world. Where else you gonna
Yesterday
hear
they
that?
was talking about taking the booties to the polls, so I don't really know.
Taking who was talking about that? Like
Carvey.
that? Well,
Carvey.
that's intellectual for some.
Carvey was talking about it. What's happening? What's happening? Hey, family. Welcome to the show. It is Michelle Bryant, the Midweek Flow here at WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Man, it's fabulous outside. I need to be out. I can't be here today. I gotta go.
Hurry up, let's get
Can you
the
do the
show
show?
over with.
Can you do the show?
I ain't gonna be able to do it.
Why not?
I'm sick.
you,
You
you ain't sound,
it all
you
week.
ain't sound sick when you was ordering me around a few minutes
Yeah,
ago.
shit.
When you was like, being a manager, you didn't sound
I was
sick.
just like, hello, beautiful black lady.
No, you said colored.
I said woman
Women-
of color.
Woman of color.
Yeah.
Who refers?
Well, you got
Who
on
refers
yellow,
to sister?
gray, you got all
Nah,
these
I ain't have
colors
it on at the time. I just put
Oh,
my jacket
oh,
on. I just put my jacket on because it was cool here.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Saying hello, woman of color.
I said, hello, beautiful.
No,
woman
you
of
didn't say
color.
beautiful. Don't ask them. Oh my God. You just got embellish. You didn't say none of that. And you said it rather crunchy. Hello, woman of color. Like you said it like Donald Trump. Like you had an attitude that you had to greet me. That's what it sounded like.
No, I could never
You know
sound
what?
like
Y'all see what I go
Donald
through?
Trump.
Y'all see?
could never sound like Donald
Yes,
Trump.
you could. Yes, you could.
It had to do it really quickly. That's one of his lines.
Dude, could you please
do it
get a
fast.
mask that fits your face?
Yeah, they gave me this. This
You
was
and
at the front desk.
These kid
Do not
masks.
put the car.
Harvey, don't
do
put
not
the,
put the camera on me.
put the camera on him, Harvey, so people can see this junior mask that this dude got on his face.
Chin on each side out.
Look, I'm like, all your germs is escaping out the side of the mask, man. Like, what
Hey.
is the point?
I went out to the desk. This is what they
Bruh.
gave me.
We all done died already, so just take it off, because that little bitty mask is ridiculous.
Damn, she said we all dead.
I'm just saying, you done breathed on me and Carvey, then sung a little bit. Look, now you see.
Now you done worked my
Yeah.
nerve up. Now.
You know, and all of this is for show because you walk around here and they had no mask on all day.
What do you mean for
Then the minute
show?
the camera come on, now
So
you
saying
want to throw a
I'm like
mask
Trump with,
on.
with,
Look at
with that
Carvey.
big old thing upside
I'm
my
just
head.
saying. Look at Carvey.
Wait, let me get one.
Carvey like, you sure right. You done walked around here all day.
I stick this up here like Trump.
You have walked around all day with no mask on, and then the minute we go on camera, you go busting out this mask. Dog.
I ain't supposed to be here.
Keep on. You ain't gonna be here. Keep on. Keep on. Family, I'm sorry y'all have to be exposed to the foolishness that is my life coming into this radio station. Hey, Carvey, how you doing today, bro?
I am doing well.
Some people have requested that you stay off the videos and be attentive to your job today. That you stay off the videos. You know, although to your, credit, there were some bros in our circle who was saying he was doing research or civic engagement. And even though they were strippers, it was research and civic engagement research.
I'm not sure what civic engagement is.
What you mean you're not sure what civic engagement is? You doing your duty to vote, know the issues. That's civics. So you were doing research for how to get people to turn out to vote. So you was in the Atlanta strip club video learning what they were saying to their patrons, right? I mean, I'm just saying, it was some bros came to your defense because I called you raggedy.
I mean, I really didn't pay too much attention.
You didn't. Kari, like I really didn't pay too much attention. I just noticed a few things here and there. All right. So look, family, we got a packed show today. I got a guest calling in roughly in about 10 minutes. And then we actually have the folks over at Greenwood Park who host the Mindful Mondays MKE discussions over at their amazing gallery. This is grown folks entertainment at its best, talking about top issues of the day while you are surrounded by culture and wine. And it's a very upscale chic kind of environment. Love it. I love the whole sound of it. So we have the folks that are going to be participating in this Monday coming up, in the session that they're actually doing on artificial intelligence, but not in just the traditional way that you think about artificial intelligence in terms of art and culture and music, and Black folks. So I'm looking forward to that conversation. But let me do a couple of quick things. Number one, if you are somebody that plays golf and you like free golf, you want to be able to get around in and not have to pay fees, the Milwaukee County Executive and First Tee, Southeast Wisconsin, are hosting a community golf day over at Noyes Park at the golf course. This is a free golf event, and it's a part of County Executive Crawley's Healthy County Challenge. So this Saturday on August 3rd, the county exec, First Tee Southeast Wisconsin, and the Milwaukee County Parks are going to host a community golf day. And the family-friendly event, which is a part of the county's Healthy County Challenge, is open to golfers of all experience levels. I know they're not talking about me because I will tear up. I will act like Cedric the Entertainer on a golf course. But I'm just saying, and have on dress shoes. It's open to golfers of all experience levels. Free admission to the golf course will be available from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. No registration is required. Just show up. A limited supply of golf clubs will also be available to rent at no charge. That sounds weird to say to rent at no charge. So it will be available to people at no charge on a first come, first served basis. In addition to the free admission, First Tee Southeast Wisconsin will be hosting a challenge to set a new golf course record. And this is a $10 entry fee to do this, but free golf lessons will be, oh no, what time is this? Oh, I got to come. Free golf lessons will be available from the Milwaukee County Parks, PGA professional Scott Walecki, and Milwaukee County Executive. I was going to say, I know David Crawley and teaching him how to play golf. Milwaukee County Executive David Crawley will perform a ceremonial tee off at 11 a.m. Did y'all see his commercial he did? What was it? What was the name of the game? And he was calling it the wrong name in the commercial, and they corrected him. Was it the crochet battle? And it was croquet. I forgot what it was, but whoever did that was a good commercial. He was out stretching, getting ready for the challenge. I really like the interactive way that County Executive Crawley is leading in terms of the office. It is high energy. All age levels are attracted. And I think he does, and his team, the comms team, they do a great job with some of these events. So again, 10 to 11 a.m. is the course record challenge. 10 to 11 a.m. is free golf lessons. 11 a.m. to 2, free admission to the golf course. The county exec is going to do the ceremonial tee off at 11 a.m. There's going to be music from 11. They got music on the golf course. 11 a.m. See, that's my kind of golf course. 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Music by DJ Q Ball. Okay. 12 to 2, food and beverage from Harold's Chicken and Waffles. Now, see, this is interesting because this is Harold's, Harrells. In Chicago, it's Harold's, Harolds, right? Chicken and waffles, available for purchase. And then 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., there are also going to be resource tables out there, accessible golf carts, again, available first come, first serve basis. So if you are somebody that plays golf and would like an opportunity to interact with the county executive and just hang out for a little bit on Saturday, please come out. If you're somebody that's been thinking about playing golf and don't know where to start, the idea that there will be an hour of free, lessons, tips, it might be a cool thing to go check out. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that, and a great thing and activity to do with children. I know that I've already bought my grandson a set of golf clubs, and same thing. Rep Myers bought her nephews golf clubs when they were young. This is one of those sports that you can do for the rest of your life. So just wanted to mention that. Speaking of sports, let me take a quick second to just say how proud we are here at WNOV that one of our colleagues, the blacksmith, quite cool, who has his own show. Don't make me say the name of it because I fight with him all the time. Naumbo and Pin. See, I can't do all that. He'll be appalled by me right now. Like, he ridiculous, Michelle. But quite cool. And I don't always know if I'm supposed to, if he's a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but he's one of them. And so as a part of the Olympic committee's efforts to make sure that people have, varying services available to them while they're in Paris for this 2.5 week, stint of competition, they hired different medical professionals from all fields to be present. And Kwaku was one of the individuals that is now in Paris providing those mental health services to athletes, staff, and people connected to the Olympics that may need them over the course of the Olympics. And he sent me some pictures the other day. He is, pictures with some of the Olympic athletes, amazing photos, the staff and team that he's working with. But there's this one picture I got to put up on my Facebook page. When I tell you I have never been so proud, oh my God, this brother is standing there. So he's standing there with two females. One female has on red, one female has on white. She has a stethoscope hanging around her neck. And then he's standing there in blue. So you got the whole red, white, blue fit. And they got on these slick Olympic outfits. And it's just the most official photo ever. When I tell you, I could not stop smiling. Oh my God. I was so, so proud because again, when you're thinking about career choices, when you're thinking about options and what's available to you, whoever thinks about, I can be a psychologist or psychiatrist and end up, being a consultant to the Olympics and actually in Paris to provide my services. That is so crazy to me. That whole thing about if you can see it, you can, if you can be it, that there will be, and hopefully, and he does a great job making sure that all these young people, all these kids get an opportunity to see this brother in this capacity. And, because I talk to people all the time, like, you think the only way to get places is by doing slick stuff and stuff that, if you get caught, it can end you up in jail. You can go all over the world doing the right thing. You can have access to all kinds of opportunities doing the right thing. You're going to see more than you ever imagined doing the right thing. Putting that work in early so that you can live the life you want to live later, nothing short of phenomenal. So kudos to my colleague. You know, he is also a member of Omega Psi Phi, one of my frat brothers in terms of the Divine Nine. I love this brother and I'm super proud of him. And I can't stop cheesing because you would think he was my family, like 100% blood related. And Alicia like Michelle, you know, that's my brother, right? So I'm just over the top for him. Let me just do a quick update in terms of what's happening in terms of the games. We got the most recent medal count because, you know, at the end of the day, that's what I pay attention to. So China is actually leading all other countries by way of the number of gold medals won. China has 13 gold medals, 7 silver, and 7 bronze. But understand this, know and believe this. The United States of America has the most medals of anybody, of any country. So we have secured 9 gold medals to date, 17 silver, and 15 bronze. So the U.S. has a grand total of 41 medals. China is second with 27 medals. Nope, I take it back. France is second with 31 medals. China is third with 27. And Great Britain has 25. And from there, the numbers go significantly downward. So the U.S. is big balling and shot calling. Caller, I see you. I'll be right there. But the U.S. is big balling and shot calling on earning these gold medals. Or earning medals, period, and across the board. So hugely, hugely proud of what the U.S. has been able to do so far in the Paris Summer Olympic Games. If you have not had an opportunity to watch, hopefully you will. And just so you know, there has been some controversy and trolling. Simone Biles' husband, who is an NFL player, he posted a picture of he and she together, and he had her gold medal that she had won around his neck, and he was pointing to the gold medal. And, you know, it was people that weighed in on social media that were hating on him because he had put the gold medal on. Hey, buddy, that's not your gold. And da-da. I'm like, you do know this man is an NFL superstar, right? You do know. It's not like he's leaning on his wife's notoriety and fame. Like, it was so ridiculous, the comments that were made to him, that people were offended that he put her medal around his neck. That's her husband. So I love that there were people in the comment section who came in and said, could we talk about the fact that he's over there to support her? That he is in the middle of training right now himself. I think he plays with the Chicago Bears, but he's in the middle of training right now, his own professional camp, and he left to come support his wife while you crying about a medal. So, you know, but he's had his share of drama. So I'm gonna switch gears, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood what we are doing, you know, by way of the Olympics. So if I'm not mistaken, the interview that I was expecting, we have had this sister join us on the line. Let me start here. Like many people, I tuned into the State of the Union address a while ago when President Biden was doing that. To be able to, you know, see what was going on. I needed to be able to talk about it on the show the next day, get some information. But like a lot of people at the State of the Union, you know, I'm looking around to see who's in the room, who's in the building, who's sitting where, you know, what kind of new faces I'm going to see. What, you know, we all talked about when Congresswoman Moore got seated next to Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we was like, what in the world? How did that happen? So I'm paying attention. And so I see this beautiful sister that's seated in the area with the First Lady, Jill Biden, Dr. Jill Biden. And I'm like, that's not a politician. Who is that? So, you know, people invite guests, and I'm trying to figure it out. And I'm working, so I have my volume down on my television, so I'm not hearing what they're saying. I would not have guessed that I would actually be talking to today the young lady that was seated next to the First Lady in her special seating area, in her press, I mean, not her press box, but her box, if you will. And so if I'm not mistaken, I think we have this sister on the phone. Latoya, are you there?
I am. Oh my goodness, thank you. That was so nice of you.
No. Look now. Anytime we see some black folks sitting up in these places, we like, who is that? Now, what's going on? And then people start Googling. Like, and it was funny because people were texting me like, Michelle, who is that sister? Y'all, I got my volume down. I'm working. I don't know. And so then when we learn who you are through the president's remarks, I finally have to turn TV up. So we have to figure out what's going on. I'm blown away by who you are, by your story. But let me do this first. Pronounce your name for the community so that everybody knows who I'm talking to.
Hi, so my name is Latoria Beasley, and you can call me Tori if that's easier for you.
I just, you know what, because you got that little hook on the end, that little interesting twist with the RYA, I was like, is it Latoria? So I didn't want to mess it up. But but if you don't mind, can I call you Tori?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so look, I feel like we family anyway, because I'm from Birmingham.
What? Really? Oh
my mother worked at UAB. And I saw that you went to Alabama A&M, and our family school is Alabama State. So what's happening? What's happening, cuz?
We are absolutely cousins now.
Good. 100%. So first of all, let me welcome you to the show. Are you in Birmingham or in Alabama right now?
I am in Birmingham.
All right. So look, Tori, the reason that it was important for me to talk to you and have this conversation, we have been watching politically a lot happen in terms of the Supreme Court and Roe v. Wade and the unintended consequences of abortion access being in some places limited or completely annihilated, depending on what state you live in. But one of the things that became clear is unintended consequences. But in some of the circles that I have been moving in, I have been around African American women in particular who have kind of surprised me in not seeing some of the urgency in this conversation. And so when I started, digging deeper, like, do we understand what's happening and everything that's impacted? And then the whole thing about in vitro fertilization gets on the map. I literally had some sisters say to me, those white folks issues. How many black folks is doing IVF? That's expensive. We ain't doing that. We can't afford that. And it took me back to seeing you sitting next to Dr. Jill Biden and like, y'all missing a huge swath of our community and what's happening. And this does impact, Black women. It does impact Black families. So having you on the show today is nothing short of special. And I just want to thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. And you're right. I think part of the problem with everything that happened was when Roe v. Wade was overturned, we automatically thought of abortions. Like, that's where our mind went.
Right.
And because I was involved in different IVF treatment programs, I knew that people would kind of ring the alarm about how this would impact IVF. But again, I didn't think that it would happen to me just because I was trying to have a baby. So I didn't understand how it could happen to me or how it could possibly affect me because we were trying to grow our family. So when things happened in Alabama and our clinic shut down, then that's when it became very alarming. And you're right, a lot of women do say that, that's not a Black woman's problem. However, it absolutely is. I'm not the only Black woman that I know or the only Black woman in my circle that is dealing with infertility.
So let's back up for a second then, Tori. So you and your husband are trying to have another child because you already have one beautiful little girl. I saw her photo. Is that right?
Right. Isn't she cute?
And so, and I love that everybody's name starts with the L in the family.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. And her name is fabulous. I will sometime have to ask you why that name, because it's absolutely beautiful. But you decide that we want to have children and keep them close together in age. But you are using IVF. How and why does that become an issue to the extent that you're comfortable talking about that?
So yeah, so we knew we knew in the very beginning that we would have to um, have some assistance with having a baby. Both me and my husband had fertility issues,
Okay.
very small issues, but when you put them together, we knew that it would be possibly impossible to conceive naturally. And we went through many interventions before we actually got to the IVF stage. So we knew starting off very early that we would need interventions.
And so when people hear IVF, for folks that don't fully appreciate and understand what that entails, what exactly does it mean when you say we get to the IVF stage? And, we're looking at this now as the option into how we are able to have a family.
So yeah, so starting off, we saw doctors and we got our diagnosis, and we started off with just time sex. And then we started off with, after that and it failed, we went through several rounds of IUI, which is interuterine interception, big word. And after that, that's when they told us, this isn't working. We're going to need to go through IVF. And that is just a process where they put you on a lot of steroids, so to speak, to help develop your eggs. And then they remove those eggs and they mix it with your husband's sperm, and you get testing and all those good things. And then later on, when you're ready to conceive, they actually implant the eggs or the embryo.
So is that how your first child was born?
Yes.
Okay.
She was born through IVF.
All right. So, okay, we ready. We getting ready to do it again. We are going to expand the family. You are going through your appointments. You're doing everything you're supposed to do. I'm assuming you're excited.
We're excited. We're scared. I'm hyped up on hormones. So I'm all over the place. And we start to hear word about a case in Alabama where a family's embryos were destroyed. And so originally I'm like, oh my gosh, how could that happen?
And so just for people that are listening, like, wait, what do you mean destroyed? So there was this fertility clinic. And this was roughly around sometime in 2020. Because I know we're in that COVID phase kind of in this moment. But what I never understood is that they said that a patient had gotten into this area of a fertility clinic and evidently was handling some of the embryos. And because of the temperatures that the embryos are kept at, it was burning the patient's hand and they dropped the embryos.
Right. And so I don't know all the details to it, but essentially that's what I've heard also. A patient who was also, someone who was dealing with infertility somehow got into the freezer and, touched the tubes that the embryos are stored in. And because of the temperature of it's essentially like hot ice, and it burned them and they dropped it and shattered, ruined those embryos and then 3 other families' embryos.
And so when
a total of 3 families' embryos. And
so when they ruin these embryos, that ruins the chances for the families to try to conceive a child because, this is all contained in this moment in these embryos. So the families of these people file lawsuits.
Right, correct.
Okay. And so pick it up from there for me.
And so when we started hearing this, of course, I'm like, oh my goodness, I couldn't imagine if that happened to me. And again, you're not really paying attention to how this could impact you. And I think it was a Monday, right before the clinics closed down, you hear this ruling. And you could kind of tell just by going into the fertility clinic that everyone was just in shock. They didn't know what to do. And ultimately, I talked to my husband, like, something's not right here. I don't know why everybody seems kind of in a panic.
So wait, so you're there for your appointment?
Yeah, actually, I had been there 2 or 3 days for my appointment throughout that week.
Okay.
The first day I realized, like, everybody seems to be in a panic. Things are not the same. It's normally pretty calm and serene in the fertility clinic. But this day, everyone was just kind of running around like a chicken with their head cut off.
So you sense something in the air, something's not right. And then you're like a person that is in the medical, professional realm. I mean, I looked at kind of some of the places you've worked at. So this is your environment to some extent.
Right. And this is almost like a second home to me because I'm there all the time. So I knew something was wrong. I have a very good relationship with my doctor. And she immediately comes in and she's like, I think you need to call Lamar.
And that's your husband?
That's my husband. And when we get off the phone with Lamar, I call him as I'm leaving. And he says, I think Dr. So-and-so is just being extra. Our treatments can't be canceled. Clearly not. We're already on medicines. Like, we're paid for stuff. They can't just cancel it. And so my husband currently works for one of the major hospitals in Alabama.
Okay.
And that clinic closed down. And when they closed
down... So wait, like literally closing in real time, as soon as this ruling begins to drop, you start to see the dominoes.
Oh, right.
Okay. And you're in the middle of this process, medication, money, everything engaged. So are you able to have the process or no?
No, it was totally canceled.
Oh my God.
So hundreds of dollars that were spent on medication ruined. Time that I had spent at the doctor's office, like I said, I'm on hormones, and it was all for nothing.
So I can't even imagine the emotional side of this whole thing, Tori. Particularly when, policies are being passed to say we're here to protect life, we're here to do whatever. I won't delve into that aspect of it, but for just a second, how do you feel knowing that with the stroke of a pen, your whole world turns upside down?
Originally I was devastated. I was so sad. But then I became angry. Like Mama Bear mode came in immediately. And I was like, oh no, I'm not going to deal with this just sitting down. I'm going to fight. Like, whatever I can do, if I have to tell my story to whoever, I will, because this isn't right.
And so how do you begin to advocate then? How do you get out here? How do you end up sitting next to the first lady?
That I don't know.
How does that happen?
Well, so the original interview that I did, it was truly just because I was in the clinic. Okay. And then after that, a lot of people started reaching out and wanting to do interviews. And so I didn't turn anything down. The one thing that I turned down was actually going to DC. And I think that was to actually meet with the vice president. No. I didn't know all those details then.
No.
But I just knew that I could not up and leave my baby the next day.
Okay.
So that was the one thing that I turned down.
So people see you. I saw a piece in People magazine, and that's where I saw the beautiful that baby is, that little baby girl is so gorgeous. But just a beautiful, beautiful family. And so you realize, like, yeah, there's an amazing amount of interest. Then you realize that there are women all over the country. I've even interviewed some other folks on the show who have had similar stories, or, just frustration and heartbreak around some of the decisions that have been made. So does Alabama backpedal? Do they backtrack once they realize how this is impacting people? Once your story gets out and other people start talking about this, where do you all stand in Alabama right now in terms of IVF?
So right now the clinics are open. However, things aren't settled. And that's the fear that I have. We don't know what's to come. If we don't get Vice President Harris into the White House, or to stay into the White House, so to speak, who knows what will happen with reproductive health care.
Because it seems like it was only because of the hue and cry of the public that people had to back up. And this is an election cycle, election year. And so people are scared. But when I saw data that said that 1 in 6 women or families are impacted and need IVF as a form of assistance to help them have a family, you realize how many people are being harmed, or how many voices there are to rise up and advocate against this. So, like, you got to feel a degree of being empowered, I'm hoping, by all of the other families that are trying to raise the alarm here.
Yeah, absolutely. There were so many women that went to the state house to speak with our congressmen and our legislators. And in speaking with them, one thing that we all said was we were so shocked how they had no clue into the IVF process. They all knew someone who had dealt with IVF, but they couldn't tell you anything about IVF. And so it was just so shocking that so many people could have a say so into our reproductive health care. However, they didn't have a clue as to the process of IVF.
So you alluded to it, it makes a difference who's in the White House.
Absolutely.
Vice President Kamala Harris has been very strong since in terms of this area of policy since the decision came out to overturn Roe, and has, and there are days when I'm listening to her talk and I'm watching the screen and I'm watching her face, and there's this level of determination and outright, like indignation. How dare you? How dare you try to tell women and families what they should be doing in these areas of their lives? Like, you can hear that level of intensity in her voice. So you said, okay, I'm willing to tell my story to anybody that will listen. So what is it that listeners to this program need to understand as we are heading out in November to talk about who will lead this country? What kind of, opportunities, I like that people have been talking about not just that democracy is on the ballot, but freedom is on the ballot. So what would you say to some of the folks listening to the show about what we should be thinking about as we're making decisions and choices?
The first thing is just that I'm a very normal person. And so if something like this could affect me in my household, just think of how it could affect your household. And so we really have a decision to make on whether we want to put someone in the White House who is going to fight for our freedom, or someone who is willing to go further to keep us away from the freedoms that we already have, or to take away the freedoms that we have.
Okay, so I want to end, with this question. So for you and your family, so where are you then? What does this mean? Because I know you invested a lot of time, a lot of money, resources. So are you able to move forward with IVF, or is that now just on hold? What's happening with your situation, Tori?
So because we are cousins, I feel that I can share this with you. So we were able to move forward, but it wasn't easy.
Okay.
Because of the delays, I developed different issues that had to be corrected, which meant more money, more time in the doctor's office.
Wow.
However, we were able to move forward with our transfer. And so I am currently entering into my second trimester.
Yay! Congratulations, sis.
Thank you.
Congratulations. It shouldn't have had to be this way. And thank God for the ability and the resources and the wherewithal to be able to get this done. But I am so glad that you are out here sounding the alarm, advocating, pushing. I'm glad that Mama Bear mode kicked in and no, not only am I not going to go through this again, but other women, if I can help it, are not going to go through this again. So I just got to tell you how much I appreciate you. I knew you were somebody special when I looked up and saw you sitting up in the box up there, but I had no idea that your story was this powerful.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, everybody. I'm going to let you get out of the way, get back to work, get your things going on. Tell baby girl Lyric that she has fans around the country because she is as pretty as she can be.
Thank you.
Yes, and let me just say, send our love and respect to Brother Lamar, because it takes two people to hold down a family and to go through all of this and to have a strong support person in place. He can be kind of pushed to the back because all of the attention is on women, but tell your husband that there's people up here that got mad respect for him as well.
Thank you. I certainly will. And thank you again.
All right. Thank you so much, Tori. All right,
and
family.
you have a good one.
Yes, ma'am. All right, family. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. I'll be right back. All right, family, welcome back to the show. Michelle Bryant, the Midweek Flow here at WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Got a caller on the line. Is that contest or? Oh, okay. So we good. So we waiting on our eighth caller to roll through. We got it?
I'm the eighth caller.
Yeah. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, Michelle.
Hey, you are the eighth caller. How you doing today?
Oh, my goodness.
You good?
Oh.
You ready to win some tickets?
Yes, I am.
Well, look, you know how this goes. Let me remind people what is a part of our Let's Make a Deal package. Either behind door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. The possibility. Debo, don't bring that bell out here. Don't start that bell. He getting on my nerves. So you could win 2 tickets to the Black Arts Fest MKE happening this weekend. You could win an overnight stay at a Red Roof Hotel anywhere in the country. You possibly could win 4 tickets to the Wisconsin State Fair. If you real lucky, 2 tickets to the Harbor Park Jazz Rhythm and Blues Festival happening on Saturday, August 17th with Jonathan Butler. Or you have the opportunity to possibly win tickets to Wisconsin Dells. But if you choose wrong, study long, choose wrong. If you choose wrong, you could pick a door that has nothing behind it.
Oh my God.
So we're not doing that. And I'm feeling better today. I don't think I'm gonna be coughing as much. But every now and then, if things are not looking good, that cough will come back up. So you got me? You hear
I got you.
Look, station management is looking at me. so first, I'm sorry. Tell me your name. Tell us your name.
My name, they just call me Stone. They call me Stony.
Stony? That's a cool name. I like that. I wish I had a cool name, Stony. All right, Stony. Door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3?
But I'm going to go with the Trinity. I've always done things in speed, so I'm going to go with door number 3.
Door number 3?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it was close. I was about to start coughing. I thought you said door number 2. I was about to start coughing. Door number 3. I hope you're going somewhere out of town this year because you have the overnight stay at a Red Roof Hotel anywhere in the country.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But I tell you what, I have some tickets to State Fair, and I would like to give you 2 of my tickets to go to State Fair. So if you get out there, you got family members that want to go, I'm going to leave those at the station to also go with your Red Roof Hotel. Because see, you may get out, but it may take you a minute to get out and about and travel.
Tomorrow's my great-grandson's birthday. And
you know
those
what?
tickets to the fair will be just wonderful.
Well, I tell you,
other than the bicycle that I got it.
Well, we got you 2 tickets.
Great.
Oh, we got you 2 tickets to State Fair as well. Okay.
Right here is that. It's small. Yeah.
What station just made you a winner, Stony?
WNOV. I've been listening to it since way back in the day.
Hey, I love it. Thank you so much, sis. Hang on one second. Debo's gonna get your information. Okay. Stony, is she? Please tell me she hang up. Stony, if you hung up, call us back. Look, 2 people gonna call to my name is Stony. My name is my name is Tony, and I just won. I'm like, you sound like a dude, bruh. Michelle, this is Stony, and let me get that Red Roof package. Look, y'all clear the line so the lady could call back. Did we get her, Debo? You got her? All right, cool. I can move on. Look, the scandalous people who was about to take her prize, y'all need to stop. All right. So 4:00 hour, I got guests coming in. Talked about that. We're going to talk about artificial intelligence. But let me take a quick second. Quick second. I like a lot of people, will be paying attention to the remaining months of the Biden-Harris administration. While there is tons of excitement around Vice President Kamala Harris and her presidential run, you've got to still appreciate the work that's happening in real time. We saw that there were hostages that were released, brought home last night, touched down on American soil, returned to families, and that we find that Biden, President Biden, had been working on this for months along with Vice President Harris, and that right up until I think that Sunday, they said he was making decisions about whether or not to stay in the race for president. He had this going on simultaneously. And the commitment to be able to focus on other people and other situations while you are making one of the most important decisions of your own personal life. And I thought about like a Donald Trump leadership in that moment, that you have to decide whether or not I'm going to, step out of this race, because of the amount of pressure that he was receiving. At this point now, you realize even if I want to stay in, it might be detrimental to the party because there's so much back and forth about, my candidacy. And so, just think about knowing how hard that Biden and Harris had worked for people to kind of handle you rough, like you got to go. It had to be crazy. But to still have the integrity, the empathy, to be a bigger, better person, to be able to say, I got to compartmentalize and put over here what's going on with me personally as the candidate, Joe Biden, and remember my role also as the sitting president, Joe Biden. And so they worked to get these hostages free. But one of the things that they also did that I know people that were personally impacted by this work is the $2.2 billion that were provided to Black farmers and ranchers who were discriminated against over the previous years. So there was a thing called the Inflation Reduction Act Discrimination Financial Assistance Program. Okay. The program was designed to offer financial support to farmers, ranchers, and forest land owners who faced discrimination before January 2021. Think about it. This is before Biden comes into office, right? Farmers and ranchers work around the clock to put food on our tables and steward our nation's land. But for too long, many farmers and ranchers experience discrimination in farm loan programs and have not had the same access to federal resources and support. This was a comment from President Biden. He goes on to say, I promised to address this inequity when I became president. Today, that promise has become a reality. Like Joe Biden literally needs to have one of those report cards or one of those documents that says, and we've been hearing it in some variation, promises made, promises kept. Donald Trump, promises made, promises broken. The assistance provided through this program is not necessarily compensation for an individual's losses, but it's an acknowledgement. Like, I can't give full reparations for everything that has happened, but I've got to be able to acknowledge that this went on. Biden goes on to say, my hope is that this financial assistance will help many farmers stay on their farms, contribute to our nation's food supply, and continue to do what it is that they love. For those who were not able to farm, we actually had people who lost their farms because they didn't get the loan assistance that they needed. And I'm interjecting some of my own words into the president's comments. He goes on to say, I hope these funds provide some measure of assistance to allow them opportunities to help themselves or their families. So this $2.2 billion allocated by Congress, let me tell you how this breaks down. Once the president was able to get this law enacted, the USDA quickly developed a program incorporated, got feedback from everybody, and they started taking applications for this program in 2023. Almost a year to the day, in huge numbers, 43,000 people from every single state, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, and American Samoas have all applied for this grant, have all applied for this program. And there will be people from everywhere that applied that will be receiving some form of financial assistance. The support is going to help these people. The recipients include over 23,000 individuals who have or had a farming or ranching operation. They are looking at getting between 10,000 and 500,000 with an average assistance grant of about, or assistance award of about $82,000. An additional 20,000 individuals plan to have a farming or ranching operation, but reported that they were unable to do so because they couldn't get a USDA loan. These individuals are receiving between $3,500 and $6,000 of assistance. Average person is getting $5,000. So they were never even able to get their farm off the ground because they could never get the loan at all. So this process, when people talked about addressing inequities, and that phrase, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, this is something that falls under DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And while there are some white people who will tell you that there is no place for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and for doing things and carving out programming and program offerings for people based on race, based on ethnicity, based on, factors other than meritocracy, that, you deserve this award, because there's an acknowledgement in doing this that the USDA discriminated against farmers of color, primarily Black farmers. So that's why DEI is important, because the real life consequences of racism continue to harm particularly the Black community. So these people that stand up and wave the flag, there should be no DEI. No, y'all need to make it right. Like I said, the money that was stolen from HBCUs, land grant colleges, you need to make it right. So the number of conversations that I've had to try to educate both Black and white people about why DEI is important. Equity. Equity is the idea that white farmers overwhelmingly were allowed to access USDA loans. And for no other reason, in most cases, Black farmers were denied those loans or given, paltry sums of money because of their race. Period. Not because they were any, less equipped to be farmers, not because they weren't capable, not because they didn't know what they was doing, but because you're Black. And I'm not giving you the same amount of money as I'm going to give your white male counterpart or your white counterpart. Equity. The idea that the playing field for hundreds of years in this country has been uneven, unlevel, unfair, everything. And it has disproportionately favored white people and given them a leg up. People who pride themselves on, bootstraps, get your bootstraps out, get your bootstraps, don't acknowledge, no, somebody actually handed you the boots in the first place because you didn't have them. Your family didn't have money, wealth, and means. Somebody actually handed you the boots for you to pull up. But then turn around and finger wag and wave in Black people's faces like, what's wrong with y'all people? What's wrong is you getting access to resources and capital that I'm not. What did we say about the venture capital funds and the Black women who said, they looked at the data? Black female businesses only get 1% of all venture capital investments. So they created their own fund, and then this white guy sues them, talking about you discriminating because you helping your own people. So for black folks that sit on their behind and pontificate about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, but Biden in particular, and whether or not you did anything for black folks, this is just another example of hundreds of examples of things that have happened under the leadership of these two people to try to address some of the inequities of the past on behalf of communities of color and marginalized people. You gotta know what you're talking about. They ain't did nothing. Black people ain't no better off. I know people who got $50,000. Don't come close to probably what they should have got, but it was more than anybody else was willing to do. I know some farmers, black farmers, who got money, who are in the process, who in the loop, who filled out the paperwork. But people will, with a broad brush, caller, I see you, I'll be right there. With a broad brush, say, somebody hasn't done anything. Man, black people still struggling. Donald Trump and Republicans, what did Donald Trump say? He the best thing since sliced bread for black folks and Abraham Lincoln. But, run them receipts then, bruh. And when you ask them to run them receipts, some of them is forgeries. You made them at the house. I checked the barcode. That's not a real receipt. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hello.
Yes, hello.
As if you might not know who I am.
Well, hello, Dr. Warren. How are you today?
Not as well as you sight unseen.
What's going on?
I want to say amen to your sermon today. I want to add a little nugget that I didn't elaborate on earlier.
Okay.
The question was asked of Dr. Carmela, what about reparations? Her response was so deep that I don't think it's really ever been said before. The issue is who would get the reparations? And her idea was to give a tax credit to the poor. Would that include us? Would that include black people? We are most poor. So if you gave something to all of the poor, regardless of race, that could settle the situation instead of giving all the money to the wealthy. Another thing is I'm a veteran, and they should go back and get all the veterans who didn't get their GI Bill, which we know who they are, and their families should get a interest-free mortgage and a free education. And I'm through with this, doctor.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. I looked because she's had comments that she made prior to, and thank you for the call. She's had comments that she made prior to this recent question about reparations since, this particular run for president. But most recently, this was her direct quote. I think there has to be some form of reparations, and we could discuss what that is. But look, we're looking at more than 200 years of slavery. We're looking at almost 100 years of Jim Crow. We're looking at legalized segregation, and in fact, segregation on so many levels that exist today based on race. And there has not been any kind of intervention done understanding the harm and the damage that occurred to correct the course. And so we are seeing the effects of all those years play out still today. That's the conversation I just had. The USDA and black farmers being able to access loans. And so they talked about that. Reporters pressed her further. She agreed that if elected president, she would lead a conversation about what reparations for black people would look like. She says, quote, yeah, including things like what we should be doing to take seriously undiagnosed and untreated trauma. End of quote. The other thing that I would just mention, in 2019, she said, and this is where, I saw some Black people resurface this comment. She was asked while she was out, she was a U.S. Senator at the time, and she was a presidential hopeful. And so she was asked by some reporter in Des Moines, Iowa, about the whole idea of reparations. And basically, she said, quote, "This stuff needs to be studied because America needs a history lesson. To be honest about it, we need to study it in a way that we are having a very comprehensive and fact-based conversation about policies and the connection between those policies and harm. If we're going to have a productive conversation, it can't just be, hey, write some checks. If we're talking about writing a check, I don't think it's that simple. And frankly, I don't support any idea or notion that after all this, we're going to say, okay, I'm going to write you a check and then be quiet, because that won't solve the problem, which is the systemic issues that are present and will continue to exist, whether or not you write a check. So I'm just saying, it's just not that simple. And I don't buy into an argument that it is, because there were some Black people that went and found that quote from Kamala Harris when she said, I just don't believe we should just write a check. Because what she went on to say when they pulled it out of that, the context of that conversation is because the problems still will exist. I gave you $100,000, but you still having housing discrimination. You're still having employment discrimination. You're still facing many of the same issues that you was facing. You just got $100,000 right now. And when that money is gone, no matter how wisely you spend it, even with the money in your hand and in your bank account, you still can be racially profiled and pulled over by the police and have a chance of getting killed, in an interaction. So you got to address not only the financial aspect of this conversation, but the systemic things, which means to go back and look at, are there disparities in policing? Are there disparities in or inequities in the sentences that are given? Frequently, we'll say, we can hear the amount of time given to somebody and tell you that person was white or Black, because most often white people get way less time for the exact same crimes. When Eric Holder and them did the whole thing about powder cocaine versus crack cocaine. Powder cocaine is the most, lethal amount of cocaine in terms of its raw, uncut, for the most part, presentation. Crack cocaine is watered down with all kind of mess and foolishness in it. Nowhere near what's in powder cocaine. But you got more time if you was dealing with crack. Why? Because white people tended to deal more with powder. So the thing that she was saying was that if you don't address the systemic issues, you still got a problem. Are they here? Oh, tell them to come on. I was wondering if they had arrived. Y'all, I'm talking about my guests. So I just needed to say that too, because this conversation is going to come up. People are going to be pressing her about the issue of reparations. And, the thing that is interesting, because as she talks about it and people like, she's not, come on in and grab seats, everybody. Hey, she's not one of us. She's not one of us. It might work to the benefit, because you're going to be able to talk about this as somebody looking at the system, and particularly even as a prosecutor, and what has been done to people of color, communities of color in the past. So I just wanted to mention that. Look for that conversation down the road. And when you all start thinking about trying to assess Kamala Harris on the issue of reparations and what she has done, I'll do this one. I just want you to understand, don't let people pull these comments out of context and jump all over her and be upset. All right. We got folks coming in the room. Is this everybody? Okay. You can slide that chair on over. Okay. I tell y'all right now, sisters, these chairs are the most unforgiving chairs for sisters. Your hips go slide off these jokers. That's why I sit on this red chair. Okay. You know, so I'm impressed. Y'all doing it. Look, see the bros just sit right on down. Just sit. I mean, they look comfortable too. They have to squirm, move around. And you know, we got to adjust and you can hold on to me if you slide off. Because I'm telling you right now, it's a problem. I apologize. I didn't realize you guys were out in the studio. So thank you, or in the reception area. So thank you. We got to talk too, because I'm eating into y'all time. Y'all like, hey, we here. You should have been on the window.
No, y'all see? Good.
Look, I appreciate folks that know how to come to your house and act, because I would have been like, hey, outside. I would have been outside. All right. So I told you all. What do you say? Here, let me give this back to you. I would have did all of that. They would have been embarrassed. And like, she can't come back. But how you doing today, sir?
I'm great, Michelle. How are you?
Look, don't try to be a player. Lean up to the mic. He's on, sitting on back, twirling around. Look here. You good?
Yes, indeed.
Good. I just want to make sure everybody can hear everything you're saying. It's good to see you. Introduce yourself. Tell folks who was behind that deep voice.
My name is Fred Robinson. I'm owner of Greenwood Park Gallery and Framing, located on 4233 West Fond du Lac Avenue.
Nice to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
You brought guests.
Yes, I did.
You got cute people in the studio with you.
Some very nice ladies here.
I see. You need to leave them green glasses though, babe. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna let you leave the studio without them glasses. I mean, I feel bad, but she got the whole little look. Right. So I feel bad. I do. And you're cute too. But you got to be cute without them glasses. Since I'm talking about you, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, y'all. I am Tiara Nicole, aka Tenine-Let. I am an artist.
Yeah, read it.
All right, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
All right, that's better. I am Tiara Nicole, aka Tenine-Let. I am a born Milwaukee native artist, and I'm also the co-founder of Craft the Future, and I am the engagement lead to East Chicago.
Okay, that's a whole lot. We'll get into it.
Okay.
And look, her glasses match your fit. So I'm just saying. Just wanted to point that out.
Oh, y'all really want me to come up off these glasses?
You got to come up. It was just like I was watching. I don't know why, because I have watched it like 19,000 times. The First Wives Club with Jill Scott, and so I bored and I started watching again. She got some glasses on that's so stupid. I got online trying to find these glasses. Now, I'm never going to wear them because they like a purse and it's just way too much. But I'm like, some lady I know needs to get these glasses. So that's what, as soon as I looked at yours, I was like, it's got that flavor. So I'm going to leave you alone. I'm not going to take your stuff. But, that's nice. I love stuff.
Oh, stuff.
Yeah, I love silver, as you can see. Yes. Okay, we can get together.
Yes, we can.
Introduce folks to you.
My name is Carmen Liddell, and I am typically the MC for Mindful Mondays.
Really?
MKE, yes.
I think I saw that in the notes that was sent over.
Yes, ma'am. I'm an artist, also a fluid artist. Actually, I pour paint, and yeah.
Well, I can't wait to have this conversation.
Yeah.
All right, so Fred, let me ask her, and Carmen, let me ask both of you. The whole Mindful Mondays. First, that concept, Fred. Where does that come from? Because I know you've been on the show before. You have been on with Qua. This is my first exposure. So help me understand the whole thing behind Mindful Mondays.
Well, Mindful Mondays started with myself and my partner, Chantel Bacchus with Bacchus Insurance.
Okay.
So we graduated high school together in 1993. We came out of tech, so we've been friends for a long time.
Okay.
So just hanging out, coming up with different things. I'm a business owner. She's a business owner here in the city of Milwaukee. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to set up a networking event on Mondays for our community. But the catch is we wanted to focus on different industries, not just one industry.
Okay.
So we started it in May, and we're going to end it in October. So we focus on.
Oh, y'all don't want people coming out during the snowstorm?
No, we want right. Well, we want to make it exclusive, kind of, and we want to start it back up in May.
Okay.
We don't want to. We don't want people to get tired of it.
I like that.
So.
Okay.
So start having it and then stopping it was a conscious concept that we came up with.
So far it's been running since May.
Yeah, it's been running since.
And what
May.
kind of businesses have you brought in?
So what we focus on in different industries, like the first one was podcasting. We did trucking. We did what are CBD and wellness.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
CBD and wellness, and then career recruiting. Was
Yes.
for July.
Mm.
And then
Was the CBD well attended? No.
Yeah, it was.
I know it was.
Right.
I know it was.
Right.
I'm here a smart butt, but I know it was well attended.
Right.
Some of my cousins was in there, I'm sure.
Right.
I like the diversity of these conversations though, because no matter what I do, these are still all industries that I could either get in, have a side hustle in. I know family members that have talked about any number of these areas. So I like the diversity of issues. But what does it look like when I come? I mean, because I heard something about like it was wine or something.
Yeah,
like that.
it's a wine tasting as well.
What?
Yeah,
Good wine.
yeah, good wine too. So
What?
it's
Oh, this is getting better and better by the minute.
It's every first Monday of each month.
Okay.
So we have one coming up this Monday, August 5th.
So it sounds like a very, kind of posh kind of.
Yes.
I like the vibe in an art gallery. So the aesthetics,
Yes.
beautiful things all around you.
Yes.
Smart, educated people in front of you.
Music.
Live music.
What's the music piece? What's that?
We have a live artist actually, by the name of Daniel Harris,
Okay.
and he's a live bass player that plays during the event as well.
Really?
And we also I actually have a live drawing artist there as well.
I'm sorry.
A portrait artist.
Uh-huh.
Okay, wait, what?
Robert Goins, he's a portrait artist. So he came last event,
Okay.
and he drew someone on the spot. It was so fantastic.
Oh no,
He's
I need to be
amazing.
drawn. I need to be drawn.
Yeah, we'll put your name at the door.
Like, hey, bro, I don't know what they got going on, but I'm gonna need you to capture all of this.
Yeah.
I am blown away by that. That is so cool.
Yeah.
So I was just in Vegas, and I went to, and in fact, I'm gonna have the brother on the show. I went to an art gallery in Vegas, Black-owned gallery. It's called 333. I got to go back and look at the card. But the space was amazing. And you walk in, you see all this amazing art. The lighting was perfect. He was getting ready to have an event similar to what you're describing.
Really?
But just the space for people to be able to come in, have these conversations. So I got to ask, like, what's it been like? What's the reception been?
It's getting a big buzz in the city, but how we look at it is that the people that's interested are going to come.
Okay.
We're not,
Like they say, the folks that's supposed to be there
right,
gonna be there.
right, exactly. So the community is backing us, so we're doing really good.
So let's talk about the topic for this month, and this is where like I am over the top because I went and looked you up online.
You look.
I did. I went and looked you up online, TR, and I was like, T9 Let?
Yes, to Nylet.
Yes.
Yes.
Help me understand. And then I saw a word like non-code.
Yeah, no code.
No code. And I'm like, what? Okay, so tell people about who you are, because you seem amazing. And how you are connected to the AI,
Yes.
artificial intelligence industry.
So I've been drawing and doing art since I was a child.
Okay.
And I just kind of got out of it as an adult. I had to mature and all of that. I was introduced to Web3 technologies which is the third iteration of the internet, by crypto. And I sat and learned those different
Okay,
technologies.
wait. I just want to slow down for just a
Yes,
second.
yes,
Pull
yes.
the mic up.
Yes,
There's
yes.
just people leaning in right
Okay.
now, like, now what this child say?
Yes. So I was
introduced.
2020, right during the pandemic, to cryptocurrency.
Okay.
And that opened by way of Tavanya Evans. Shout out to Tavanya Evans. She is a tech genius, been in the game for 20 years. She created her own blockchain. And I invested in a node.
Okay, so see, you doing too much.
Sorry.
Act like you talk to,
Okay, so
to lay people.
So
what in the hell is a blockchain?
A blockchain is a open ledger. So just to break it down to the most simplest terms, is It is let's just say an open notebook that everybody in the public can see.
Okay.
And it's recorded there on record and it cannot be altered.
Okay.
And so
what's the purpose of that though?
So it's great for someone like myself who needs to authenticate my work. Or if I have a collector who's saying they're my collector, I'm just going to go on chain and see if you're holding my piece. And that'll determine whether you're my collector or not, because on chain does not lie.
Okay.
And so it helps with record keeping on top of there's multiple layers of different technologies. Blockchain is just one technology. You have cryptography going, you have cryptocurrency in itself, you have the metaverse, you have NFT. So
But I
there's
felt like the cryptocurrency thing blew up and people was like, it was a scam. They took everybody's money and people was billionaires and then became poor in 24 hours. No.
So cryptocurrency is
y'all don't
pretty
want me to
much
come
the
to y'all.
birth.
She like, don't bring Michelle. Don't bring Michelle.
No, it's just the birth of a new digital infrastructure.
Okay.
And it is impacted the financial sector so much so that's why things like Bitcoin ETF is a conversation, Ethereum ETF. And it's because we're literally watching the fabric of a new found ecosystem being created right before our eyes.
So when we talk about cryptocurrency, we got to be careful to separate out like the Bitcoin, because these are individual companies.
No, technologies.
I mean, technologies. Cryptocurrency seems like it's an umbrella for everything.
So
cryptocurrency
is just a different form of exchange of medium.
Right.
And so Bitcoin is daddy. That's the gold. And so it's turned into what we say digital assets. So there's a difference between digital assets and then what we call meme coins, meaning, they're just coins that are just created just for fun or just to give access to whatever that particular person may desire. Anybody can create a cryptocurrency, but to bring value to it means something completely different. And so Bitcoin is king because of the value of the technology behind it. And there's only so many Bitcoin. So once that supply runs out, it's just pretty much, it's like whatever you were able to build and accumulate within that period before it shoots up to a higher value. It's just those who pretty much became the early adopters or early participants will benefit the most from these different types of financial infrastructures being created out of the technology.
Look,
I want to add to that.
Look, I'm gonna say, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so there's an NFT. Now I understand this. I don't understand all that, but I do understand this. Like an NFT is a non-fungible token, and there was this big buzz about them, and you could buy them. And the idea that I got at the time was that you would be able to buy things in the metaverse. Right. And so like in the metaverse, you can buy art.
Couldn't go to Nordstrom's, but
you could buy furniture. And I heard they didn't have legs for a minute, so I don't know about that part. but so that's a part where you can create value with this token that you create. Like I have an NFT. Right. Okay. But I'm not as sophisticated. She's going to help me because she's generous like that. She already told me. So I know she's going to help. But an NFT is a non-fungible token that you can create. Like I have a piece of art. I want to have this art pay me all the way down the line. If somebody buys this token, am I right? Yeah. Okay, pretty much.
So to make it simpler, so when she's talking about the NFT, she's talking about digital assets. We still can classify those as digital assets. What makes it non-fungible is the fact that it does not have the same value.
Say the word fungible.
Yes.
What does fungible mean?
So fungible is Fred has $1, I have $1. That's fungible. It's the same value.
Okay.
Non-fungible means they don't have the same value. So every NFT that's created does not hold the same value. It's what you input into that NFT, which that's ultimately what's going to hold the value.
Okay. So this is expansive and an area that I know a lot of people, they tread lightly because they're like, oh, I'm not tech savvy. I don't really understand. I got to learn the language.
They call it the speculative market.
Yes.
Okay. I completely understand.
It is an arena that I hear everywhere I go from my son and his friends that are talking about investments and what they're doing, and to how things are changing. My grandson, it was so crazy. He was in a pizza restaurant. I told a story on the radio not too long ago. He was in a pizza restaurant. Some older black men saw him and did what older black men do. start jangling it in their pocket, getting out, something for them, a little something. And they handed him a dollar bill. And my grandson, like, oh, okay. And my son said, like, it registered for him in that moment because the old man was like, kids be happy to get, did we need to give him a 5? I mean, he doesn't seem excited. And my son said he realized in that moment that although my grandson was 4, he had never held currency before. Everything they do, my son is literally cashless. Everything he does is with a card. And so Atlas had no idea what that dollar bill was and that you were supposed to be like, oh, good looking out. And so there are people that are, they're scared because I can feel the dollar. I can touch that. When you start talking about the metaverse and what's out there, people get so afraid. Do I have to take a break? Let me take a break. So I want to work from there and how when you start talking about AI, why we got to pay attention to this, and then the conversation. Because I pulled up one of the women, Wanda Bryant, and I looked at the art that she was doing and how she was dropping the stuff. I was on her Facebook page, like going down rabbit holes, messing with Wanda. And I was like, oh, I need to friend her so I can make comments. I'm just having a field day. So I am so excited for the conversation because I didn't even appreciate everything that this means in terms of business into our community. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Michelle Bryant, midweek flow. I'm about to go buy some Bitcoin and some non-fungible. I'm about to do all of that. I'll be right back.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, family, welcome back to the Midweek Flow with Michelle Bryant. So I got some folks in the room way smarter than me today. I'm getting the education, understand where I need to be on Monday night. This is an incredible opportunity to find out what is going to be happening at the upcoming Mindful Mondays, MKE, that is being sponsored by. And Fred, so who would we say are technically is the sponsor of this?
Myself, Greenwood Park Gallery and Framing, and Bacchus Insurance.
Okay, want to make sure I got that piece right. And so we are joined in studio by knew the system was bad, didn't understand how bad and how cold. Tiara Nicole, and is it Tiara?
It's Tiara.
Tiara Nicole, and also Carmen Liddell. Fred just in here taking up space. He's just making it happen. Fred to lean back.
Moral support.
Fred to lean back from the mic. Like let me let them have it, Michelle. But we go, and then even during the break, Harvey's asking questions, trying to make some connections, understand how long AI has been around. One of the things that you said, Tiara, is that like we talking like the 40s.
Yeah.
So I sat and I pulled up some information. And the groundwork for AI.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that I found, it says a couple of things to note. 1921, a Czech playwright named Karel Čapek released a science fiction play, Rossum's Universal Robots, which introduced the idea of artificial people, which he named robots. This was the first known use of the word. 1929, Japanese professor Makoto Numashira built the first Japanese robot named Gakusasuko. Okay, messed that up. And in 1949, computer scientist Edmund Callis Berkeley published the book Giant Brains, or Machines That Think, which compared the newer models of computers to human brains. And then finally, we get to the big boy, Mr. Turing. We get to the big boy. Alan Turing published the book Computer, Machinery, and Intelligence, which proposed the test of machine intelligence called the imitation game. That's where I first became familiar, because I had nerdy people around me who insisted that, I had, and y'all lit up the phone lines. Y'all have lit up the phone lines. I want to say that too. Look, Geek Nation is all over. That's what the people say when we can't keep up. We make fun of y'all, but really it's us that's got, like, come on now. But so you were saying, yeah, like Michelle, this goes back years in terms of artificial intelligence. So when do we realize that, it's workable? When do we see the first, is it the computer? Is it some other piece of equipment where people finally realize, like, no, we can make machines think like human beings, or come, in fact, they outperform us in a lot of cases. What do you say to that question?
Can you rephrase the question?
So just trying to figure out, like, when this becomes real, because you got people writing books about it, and first coining the phrase robots. But then when we finally begin to realize that, no, this is technology that we can actually employ, and we can use it in everyday life to make life better.
See, the thing is, companies have been using it. And the thing is, it's just most of the public are unaware of the workings of AI and the background of a lot of companies.
Like in what way? What, do you have an example?
And so one easy one is like how companies, the HR systems, use AI to pretty much come in and look at resumes, and resumes that don't qualify or hit the rubrics of whatever they're asking get automatically tossed.
There's no lady in the back going through
No.
And like going with
those
her
days
pen.
are over.
She got a little pen and her finger going down the little what?
Yeah. And I used to manage some companies too, so I know, but no, those days are over.
Are you serious? So let me tell you, and I'm kidding around, but I know that there were even some people that had started talking about resume writing in a way that needed to change because of the use of AI and the way Black people show up in their resumes and the way we were doing. We weren't saying the things that needed to be said.
Yep, they look for indication words, and if you say the wrong thing, it'll boot the resume. Yeah,
like machine learning.
And this is why some people are having difficulties getting job interviews, just to even get their resume seen.
So Carol is not sitting at the desk no more.
No, Carol is not. AI done came and took the job.
Where Carol and John are sitting, they are teaching the machine. Like if you want, it's like sitting in front of a machine and showing the machine, like feeding into the machine a cat. You want the machine to learn what a cat is.
Yeah,
right. So you show it even the bald head cat. You show it all the cats. You feed it the cat. Anything you consider a cat, you show it as a cat.
But see, that's the other issue where a lot of people get like jittery about AI is because we understand that this information in some part, can it be biased? Like when they talk, I was talking about AI with someone on the show one day, and I had learned prior to the interview, I go in the bathroom to wash my hands, and I put my hands there, and they got the sensor. She's smiling, y'all. She is smiling
because I know.
What am I getting ready to say, Tiara?
The water won't come out for you when you put your hand out.
The water will not come out, and I'm sitting here like it's broke. And so then I go from sink to sink, putting my hand, and now I'm touching the sensor because I'm like, I need to wash my hand. No water is coming out. And then some white lady come up. She put her hand under the sink. Psh, Niagara Falls. And then they look at me like, lady, it's so easy. Just put your hand right there. What happened to me in that moment, Tiara?
So I don't know. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm not sure how those particular fountains are built in.
But they were saying the research. The people that they used to test the products that they did not recognize dark skin.
I'll say this. So the thing with the AI development, it does come down to the actual developer.
Right. I'm like, because that's where I'm going. Like, who's at the table?
Yes, that's important.
Yeah.
Right? And so when we are using these technologies, if we do find that there are biases, then I always say call to action for you would be to put yourself in the developer's shoes, which we have as Craft the Future, and we created our own generators. Right, to eliminate that issue of the biasnesses that exist in certain, generators, because there's a lot of different generators that can be used. I think it just comes down to us being responsible enough to research which one works best. And if you don't, like what you see out there, then just by all means, create your own.
Yeah, okay, you're doing way too much.
That's the turning point.
I mean, because it's one of those things where, like, come on now. I don't even understand what's happening to me.
We can help you.
And this is why this conversation becomes critical, because I don't understand what's happening to me. All I know is it's broke and it's not coming on for me. And then later, but to your point, I actually started researching, and I don't know what made me do it, but I actually started reading because I'm like, how do these bathroom sensors work in these sensors work in these bathroom sinks that they don't come on? And then I ended up stumbling upon this information about who are the test subjects when they're doing the training, and that frequently it's not Black people. Just like with medication. When COVID and stuff was being developed, vaccines, they were begging Black people, y'all please come, because we don't know how this is going to interact with people of color. Okay, so Carmen,
yes, ma'am.
Help me understand why businesses need to be at this event on Monday.
Because there are certain tasks that businesses undertake that take up a lot of time, and AI can replace that. AI can be an assistant. It doesn't take the job of the person, but the person, we know what this answer is. The person who knows AI could take that job because we can do it faster. There are certain things that we can input into the machine, and it's not foolproof. And we raise the topic of ethics.
Oh, definitely.
Right. So my point of view for it, I wanted to become certified because I was being trained by somebody in another area who says, I'm moving back to America for this AI thing.
Okay.
And if you're interested, I want you to come aboard. And so I came aboard to learn it, to stave off the fear, for one. And then, like, to Tiara's point, is to be at the developer table, to not be behind it and afraid of it, but in front of it, so that I can make change where I need to, and even develop my own business outside of working for someone else.
So Tiara,
yes,
like, So either in-game jobs, in-game applications, the things, particularly as a Black community, as Black folks, that we need to understand, because many of us are not in this space. I imagine you go places and you like too and few. So what is it that we as a community got to get? And I even had this conversation talking about NPS, and it seemed like NPS didn't want to fully embrace AI. I heard stuff about, we worry about kids cheating on writing their papers and blah, blah, blah. And that there were other communities, though, educational school districts that were embracing it because they were like, whether you want to embrace it or not, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And a lot of these kids, when they graduate, they're going to need to understand this technology.
Absolutely.
I have young people that are working now in organizations, and they're saying, I'm feeding information in. They want me to produce and generate a report. And that report is now being generated in great part by this intelligence.
Yes.
So what is it that we need to understand?
One, I think we need to understand that this is changing the fabric of our society. Like, this is a unique period.
Changing it how?
The way the technology is being used. It's changing, and it's not just AI too. Like I said, is also Web3 technologies, which are much more newer technologies, actually. So these technologies,
and Web3, just one more time,
is the third iteration of the internet. Yes, it's the new internet that it's a whole world of its own.
So, are people already using the new internet?
Yes.
Yes. Like grandma.
Yes.
Baby, are people using the new internet? I mean, that's great. Like, where do we find it? Like, am I on the new internet? Is it at my house? Is it when I turn my computer on? Do I have access to the new internet?
Yes.
Where is Web3? Where is this?
So parts of Web3 would be connected to layers of blockchain, the metaverse, to smart contracts, NFTs, where these things is connected to the different vast ecosystems and communities of Web3. And this is global. This is not a US thing. This is a global thing. So me as an artist, I wanted more reach. And so to be able to have now a global audience, and have that reach where if somebody just wanted to come and buy my work, there is no middle person. I set the royalties in my contract. I set the licensing in my contract as to how I want that to be utilized.
And so when you say your work, like actual art that you've created.
Yes, that I've created. Yes. And once it leaves me and it's bought, and the fact that there's people all across the world who's holding the piece, like that, to me, that means everything. It's amazing. And the fact that, if I wanted to, let's just say airdrop, I do airdrops. So when you hold a particular piece of mine and I see that, or if you've been just a collector of mine for years and you always buy work, I'm just like, you know what, let me reward, my collector, and by just dropping new pieces to that.
Okay. But as a person who collects art, when I was at the gallery, in Vegas, I bought 2 pieces while I was there. Phenomenal. Can't wait to hang them. I'm that old school, but can't wait to hang them. But I'm listening to you now. I airdrop somebody a piece. Like, I'm thinking about how I airdrop a photo.
Yes, it's the same concept. I'm just airdropping it in the wallet.
So what does that mean? Do I get to frame that? I mean,
so
I can take it to Walgreens. So what does that mean?
So 9 times out of 10, I usually set my licensing to. So if you wanted to just print it out, and yes, absolutely. But usually
don't tell me to just stay on the phone.
So the thing is, my pieces are digital. So some of my pieces look completely different. I do both. So my thing was integrating this physical world into this digital reality, to where now I know how to create work with and make it AI assisted. So most of my work now is AI assisted, meaning, yes, in AI, I can tell AI what I want to see. AI creates a general image. And then from that image, I go to work and I put all of my more creativity into it, and then now it's AI.
So when you say you go to work, though, because I'm thinking about my grandson, I shared this on the show. My 4-year-old grandson at the time, he decides he's going to write a book, and then he's going to create the characters. So he wanted the superhero to be purple and to have an afro, but with twisties, and so he's or locks. So he's given, his mom is working him, and I don't know which program he used, but he's building this whole thing. I'm listening to you and I'm saying, okay, so this is the piece I want to create. black woman, riding a horse. So,
Mhm.
and then AI gives you whatever the foundational stuff. When you say you go to work, does that mean now you physically are taking that and changing it, or you're still going to work within the software and the program?
So I'm using technological software, and it's not always AI, but I'm actually, so meaning I'm a traditional artist slash digital artist. And it took me to have to use AI and these different other technologies to realize a newfound respect for digital artists. So that means artists who create works from, just digital Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, they're creating work. That's actual work, having to come and clip videos. If you look at some of my work, they move and all. I have to come in and make all of that happen. And then the editing, that
So there's
work.
this whole other art world that I clearly am not up on.
So yes, there's so there's art
I'm waiting for
processes.
the airdrop piece now. 'Cause I'm like, but and then try not to be old school, because I'm like, now, not the free one you give me, but if I pay for this, I don't get to like walk and see it hanging in my house. I
mean,
gotta
you
have
could,
a
yes,
digital.
yes, you can print it off.
I can print it.
Absolutely.
Do people print them?
Absolutely. Yes.
But do people just have it so they can just pull it up and just
enjoy
it?
If it's digital, if you've grabbed a digital piece of mine that move, most people like to have those on their screens. Like I have a collector, he's in Greece, and he has one of my pieces in his personal gallery, amongst other artists. But it's just stuff like that where some people, they have decked out cool galleries, and it moves, and
oh my god,
and it's amazing. And there's so many other digital artists that are amazing.
Dude, where have I been? I have slept on this, and I'm telling you, I love art. I'm like a junkie, and you'll
get a trip out of this.
Okay,
there's art also being created in the metaverse. So with the Oculus in VR, I can go and create a piece
with the Oculus in VR.
Yes.
Look, Carby said, "What is that?"
Virtual reality.
Okay,
you're completely immersed in it. And but yeah, there's now where there's artists creating pieces from them being in the metaverse. I mean, they spray paint in the pieces, drawing, whatever, and then they can actually have that as a piece and then sell it on chain. So it's literally a whole new world.
Absolutely. So. And this is the thing that I think, as you talk about bringing people together for these Mindful Mondays, when we think about networking, it usually is about, hey, who I can give my business card to, and I can, we can, collaborate. You do this, I do that. We can work together. But being educated about what else is out there, because you don't even understand where else your business can go. Where there's new clients, where there's growth, just understanding the people that's buying from you, so because I was like, girl, you come up here about some airdropping me some art, and
hey, people love the airdrops now.
But I'm gonna tell you what, I'm having this moment. I'll never forget. I went to Chicago, and I'm cool. I'm sorry if you hadn't picked up on it.
Yeah,
I'm cool in my mind. And we go to Chicago. But I had been living in Milwaukee too long. So some of my coolness was fading because I had been living here too long. Go to Chicago. And this dude has on I take it back. He had on a hat that me and my god brother made fun of. We was like, what in the... And we, just eye, gave each other the eye. We were smug, like, oh my God, what is this mess he has on? 2 years later, we see that same hat. Mm-hmm. Everybody has it on. We actually were on the Late Show. The hat is called a scony. The brother who made it, or who makes them, is now deceased. I was in Greece. I was just in Greece in June. I had a summer scony on because he had the fall ones, the heavy ones. Somebody came up to me in Greece and said, "Is that a scony?" And I was like, "Yes, it is." But I laughed at this hat when I first saw it. You realize that it's a whole world of stuff you know nothing about. And in your smugness and your arrogance, you refuse to learn about it. Am I hitting on anything?
Fear.
Yes,
Fear is
that's why for 2 years before I integrated my work, I was a student to the technologies. I sat and learned once I realized how vast and what was really going on. I said, no, I have to learn. And so that is how I fully got immersed in Web3 as like all full.
Because when you say my piece is now in somebody's gallery
Yes.
in Greece, that's exactly what I'm thinking about. And from my own personal story, and it was just, way, just more remedial than the stuff y'all talking about. But just that idea that fear and unknowing will keep us from advancing and growing. So this is an amazing conversation and opportunity for people. So as the host of these, Carmen, what's it like, man? I mean, as you've unfolded this series, how have people responded?
So first of all, I want to give a lot of credit to Fred and Chantel Bacchus.
Yes.
Bacchus and Short. Them coming together and doing this, it's amazing because the people that they're bringing often are tech alumni, right?
Really?
And these we're not, right? But that's beside the point. But the thing of it is, there's no gatekeeping. It's like they're coming in their respective industries, and just like Tiara, giving all of this free game, right? You know what I mean? And it's just like that. And so many people, when they come to these events, leave with that, like, wow, that was great. Like, this was things I didn't know. Transportation, like my mother just parked her box truck because she didn't know this piece of information. You know what I mean?
Right.
CBD and wellness is healing people. You know what I mean? Career recruiting. They're MATC. They offer food and shelter, along with free rides to college. But a lot of people don't know that. But we learned that at Mindful Mondays, and the whole room was like aghast because what?
Right.
So now this with AI is just like there's so much to learn, and the place that Tiara comes from is like way up here. But she's so gracious that she's giving us that, right?
Right.
You mentioned Wanda Bryant. Wanda Bryant is amazing. And
what is her? I looked at Sable. Oh my God. Her clothing design.
Yes. Sable, Slaying Sable.
Slaying Sable. Yes. I love that name.
Let me tell you, Wanda is phenomenal. She has taken AI. She had certain things that she struggled with all her life.
Okay.
AI made the difference. In a person with the disability, it can help. So there are very good things that it offers. Aside from the fear, it's okay to be afraid of something, but just don't sit in the fear. Come learn. And so I'm becoming certified in it, like I said, because I want to know, just like Tiara said, you have to sit in it, you have to learn it. I use it every day. If there are some things that I have to approach
you use
and
AI
I don't know
day.
how to do it, Chat GPT is one way to do it.
So I just literally, let me tell you, when I got introduced to, so I knew when Chris Christie said that Vivek Ramaswamy sounded like Chat GPT. And I was like, ha ha ha, but I didn't know what that meant. It was a whole bunch of black people with ha 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 ha. And then everybody turned around, the hell is Chat GPT? Wasn't even saying it right. What's Chat GP? Like, didn't even know. Just didn't even know. You did it. Don't be making faces. You didn't know what Chat GPT was. Debo looking like, oh, he said he still don't know. But Carvey, like, did you know? I know Carvey did. But, and so we all like are laughing behind the scenes, but then we all got turned around like, no, because this was a joke told on a national stage. The whole rest of the world knew. Mm-hmm. We didn't have a clue. I had listeners to this show text me and say, Michelle, what was Chris Christie talking about? Mm-hmm. So then the first time I actually used Chat GPT, I'm at an NAACP meeting. And we brought in a brother who I've had on the show, who came in, and he told everybody, take your phones out, and gave us an assignment. And that's the first time I used it. My son was laughing at me because he's been trying to get me to use it forever. He was like, oh, lady, come on. So when you say you use it every day, how can you incorporate AI every day?
So I'm usually in a lot of meetings. Oh, and I have a special AI assistant I love dearly. And you have
an AI assistant?
Yes, and it goes into my meetings for me. If I cannot be present, my AI bot is definitely going to be present, and it's going to capture every word you say.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
Personalization.
Do you know how many meetings I'll take? Like I literally
I'm already
start
knowing.
this show. I have Rep Myers come do the first hour of my show because I have a mandatory meeting that I have to be in on Thursdays at 3:00 when I come on. You're telling me you have an AI assistant that can go into meetings for you?
Yes. So like if I really cannot make the meeting, so even when I'm in the meeting, my bot is still with me. And it's my note taker. It greets everyone. So like if I want to customize the greeting, like, and if I wanted to say something specific, I can get it to do that. But there's been a lot of times where it's been like, oh, I didn't say this in the meeting, and then all I do is I said, oh, all right, well, let me just go review my AI assistant, and then I have the transcript that has exactly the time in line as to where this person said what, and then I just play it back for them, and yeah,
it's trainable.
Oh my God.
And then it summarizes. So
because I've seen the stuff that like we've been in the meetings and they capture everything and summarizes the meeting, and it feels like they pulled out all the high points, if you will.
Yes. Amazon does it really well now. They
How do I get an AI assistant? Where do I go?
So you can there's Otter AI.
That's what
Woodpecker
Romeo, who is at the Courier.
Yes.
He was the first one I had heard with Otter. Okay.
Yes. So I mean I made it popular
God.
amongst our team where everybody else started grabbing AI bots, and I was just like, you guys
How long
are
have you had
copying,
one?
But I found out about the personal assistants honestly when AI really when it was like really buzzing everywhere. And this is where a lot of companies that were like starting off was making their services free. And so we were the rabbit team where we was going in, signing up for everything, using everything, like breaking stuff, seeing how this works and seeing what didn't. And the AI assistant bot, it just stuck with me. But yes, I have it set, and so it knows my business meetings. If I wanted to separate through emails, it's separate. So it's like personal email, business email. But yeah, I can, if I wanted to cancel where I don't want it to show up to a bot, a meeting, I can make sure I put it that way. But it's very helpful because I'm not going to remember everything in a meeting. I'm not. And so
just think about saying that in a room full of business people.
Exactly.
And I literally have competing meetings and competing
I bring my bot right in, and they're just like, what is that? And I'm just like, oh, it's my bot, y'all. And then usually people, 9 times out of 10, most people are cool with it. They don't really care.
I bring
so it's just
my
like
bot.
changing the fabric of professionalism, and in a unique way. This is the new world, and so we get to use all these cool tools.
When I tell you, Jesus sent you to me. Oh my God, I am so ecstatic! I cannot wait. I know what I'm going to be doing this weekend. Fred, do you see?
So it's already working.
Yes.
It's already working.
Fred, you and Chantel, I didn't see y'all a check. This is amazing. Right. All right, so for other people who want to be inspired, educated, brought up on game, Fred, tell people one more time where they need to be, what they need to do to be able to attend. And she will be there. These people will be there.
Yes. Mindful Mondays. Greenwood Park Gallery and Framing, 4233 West Fond du Lac Avenue. August 5th, between 5:30 and 7:30. It's a wine tasting inside of a beautiful art gallery and great people. That's all I can say. Come support Milwaukee.
Ladies, I ain't talking to Fred. Ladies, y'all were amazing. This was such a good interview. Thank you so much. Thank you, Fred. And Chantel for bringing these people to the fold, to our attention, to our community. We about to get educated. I like that.
Isn't that awesome?
Girl, I'm about to get a bot. All right, y'all. I got to get ready to get out the way. Family, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I know it was a number of people that had called in, but I started the interview late, so I wanted to make sure that I rolled through. But if you got questions, I will definitely either circle back with Fred and the team that came in, or you can show up on Monday to Mindful Mondays at
4233 West Fond du Lac Avenue, 5:30 and 7:30.
And get your questions answered.
Yes, indeed.
You can Google Mindful Mondays MKE, and you can get to that Eventbrite link to get your ticket as well.
So I need to register?
Yeah, well, you don't have to register, but we do have tickets at the door.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Debo, appreciate you, bro. Woo, it's Friday. Lord Jesus, I get to go home. Barbie, appreciate you, fam. All right, y'all. Y'all be safe. I'll talk to y'all next week. Thank you. Peace. Woo.